Everyone, it's Silver Moon. I wanted to talk to you guys today about intuitive readings and possibly even offering them as a service. I have been doing intuitive readings as a service for 3 years now in my shop, but I've been working with tarot and oracle cards for up to 5 years. But the thing is that it's still an ongoing and possibly it's going to be a continuous learning experience because within the 3 years, I have done so many different services, and I still haven't found up till maybe now what works best for me. And it's one of those things where you have to do those trial and error kind of things before you can find out what your true strengths are. Um, the type of readings I've done in the past have been like PDF readings, email readings. I've done audio readings, visual audio readings on YouTube. I mean, I have like a big spectrum of different things, and the reason I wanted to talk to you guys about readings because I've been kind of frustrated with the trying to figure out the services to put out for my website. I've been editing and changing things up, trying different things, asking a bunch of my friends to let me use them as a spiritual guinea pig to test some stuff out. And it's been such a great experience, but also it's been such a frustrating experience because I'm trying to figure out what what my strengths are, and I think I finally found it. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that. For those that are interested in doing intuitive reading, like oracle cards or any kind of divination tool, the number one thing you want to figure out is how you receive messages from spirit. And spirit could be of whatever you believe in, whether it's that god and goddess or the angels, whoever that is. I just either use the word spirit or spiritual tribe to define or try to bring them all into one word. So find out how you receive messages from spirit. And for me, figuring that out required for me to try different kind of forms of either through automatic writing, through communication, through I feel like interpretive dance, all kinds of different ways to figure out what's going to work for me. Um, and it also has to do with the space, but we'll go into that in a little bit. So for me, my strength is automatic writing. And the way that I came to that is that for me, it's a lot easier to sit with the energies, sit with the cards, look at the cards, and I think of the messages in my head as they're coming in, as I'm downloading them, um, at such a fast rate that I can't even compute. Like I sit there like it takes me a while for me to it's almost like it comes in a different language and I'm trying to interpret or translate what's happening and then to spit that out into English words. It's a little difficult for me. But I don't have that challenge when I'm typing or writing, which is those things that you have to figure that out. And so for me, if I'm downloading the messages from spirit, I have to have either a piece of paper, pen, and or my laptop and type. And I've been doing that. That's how I first started to do them. Is when I found out that worked for me. I would just offer a bunch of email readings with a PDF format, and it worked for me. And the feedback and testimonials were just amazing, and they were uplifting, and it just reassured me that that was my element. And once I did that for a couple of years, I wanted to move into something more different. I wanted to test the waters a bit. And I went into more of a visual audio aspect, or no, I went to audio aspect. And what that is was still automatic writing. I still did my PDF, but I would, instead of giving that person the PDF, I would read that into an audio. And then it didn't feel very authentic. It felt like I was reading something, and it felt like I was, what's it called, like a robot. Excuse me. And so from then I decided, okay, well, maybe a video audio feel might work, like a YouTube reading. And that's what I've been doing recently. And they're all different. Like, of course, the person that purchased it won't see the other people's readings, but I get to look at the different readings I'm doing. They're all different, and they don't, for me, it doesn't feel authentic, I guess. It just, I don't know, it doesn't work for me, and the messages aren't exactly the way I wanted them to be delivered. And that's because I can't communicate um, and interpret at the same time. And it's funny because this is where you have to test them out to find out what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are as a reader. Because for me, when I'm doing a video reading, it fucks with my mind. It overwhelms me because here I'm trying to understand this foreign language. Then I'm trying to look at the camera to make sure that I'm on shot, and then you can see me correctly, you can hear me correctly. Then I have to make sure that the cards are on frame, and that there's just way too many distractions, and it's overwhelming for me. And and then the editing process of it is mind-boggling. And one of the hard things I have is when I go back, because I always re-watch the videos, the readings before I send them out to make sure that the audio is perfect and everything's on point, and the picture slides that I like doing is on point. I'll hear the message, and then at the same time I'm hearing and watching like this, I'll just watch the video, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I said, and that was a message. But there was way more, and I just couldn't communicate and articulate it because I just couldn't at the speed. I feel like I need another computer. Like my processing boards are not working very quickly, and I had to figure that out recently and find out that my strength as a reader is through automatic writing, and so I have to now that brings me to the next thing that you want to figure out. So once you figure out what your strength is as a reader and how you communicate or how you receive messages from spirit, um, go with that, and that's going to give you to the next point when I made a little note is how you receive, or what will work best for you as a term of like a service. And so, like I mentioned before, PDF format and email readings uh, worked tremendously for me. They were like my thing. Like that was my thing. And I need to go back to that. And so now that I have evolved a little bit past it, like I'm a little bit more visual and a little bit more colorful and creative. How now it's that point where you have to kind of figure out like how can I take that of what I did with the video readings, excuse me, and put that in a PDF format. Like, can I still make that colorful, and can it still read Eric Silverman? You know, is it still my personality? Like, how do you put that on paper? And so that's the challenge and frustration that I have right now is putting my personality and putting the way that I talk and communicate in paper or on paper. And that's what you have to kind of figure out too, is that, you know, once you try these different things, you figure out what works best for you. And, you know, now that I finally know the route that I need to take my services, which is going to be PDF format, um, I feel a little bit like I wasted a lot of time doing all this other stuff. But in reality, I didn't. It was a necessity. It was necessary for me to go through those challenges and lessons to get to my aha moment now. Um, so that's kind of like wanted to talk to you guys about that. For those that are wanting to do intuitive readings as a service, is first again find out how you receive messages from spirit, and once you figure that out, figure out how are you going to be able to use that of how you receive messages from spirit onto an actual service. Like, how are you going to be able to do that? And for me, my strength and how I receive messages from spirit is automatic writing. And so it just makes more sense for me to do it in PDF format. A lot of people are more vocalizing me, or maybe they're more confident in communication. So maybe audio and video is a little bit better for you in terms of delivering the messages. And even one-on-one is better for you. Maybe you don't like the high tech stuff, and you want that personalization of being that human interaction of one-on-one. Maybe that works best for you. But you have to try. I would recommend trying everything. Trying PDF, trying audio, trying human contact, trying with videos, and so that you kind of figure out what's going to work best for you. The other thing is that most of us, and I say us, me included, is we struggle, or I struggle, in what to charge for our services. And That's a tough one because have always said that my gifts, the gifts that I get from Goddess, from my spiritual tribe, from my angels, I give that freely. I give readings free because that's a gift that I can't put a price on. But what I can put a price on is my time. My time I do charge, and so there's a difference between that. There's always that taboo thing of like, why I say witches or readers or psychics shouldn't charge for their services, but I'm like, I don't charge for my services. I charge for kind of my time. Reading for me, now that I have experience, one question reading takes me about 30 minutes. So I know that it takes me 30 minutes. So when I do a video, I have to add on about 40 minutes of editing and adding the slides and all that fun stuff and the music. It's an additional time. And so that's my personal time that I'm taking away from that because it's my business. That I need to acclimate in terms of how much I'm going to charge. And so you want to figure out how much of your time is worth in terms of money. So a good example is that if you want to charge, let's say $20 an hour, and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, this reading takes me only 30 minutes, then that's half of an hour, so it would really be $10 for that reading. You could do it that way. If it took you a whole hour to do the reading, either communicating or if you're adding on the that time that it took you to upload it and do all that stuff, it took you a whole hour, then charge for that time. That was your time. That's precious time and hard work that you put in. Why not charge for it? People are going to pay for the attention to detail, for the quality of customer service. They're going to charge for your hard work, for your personality. And that should have some kind of number to it, I guess. But for me, I've always had that hard struggle in finding out what should I charge for or what the right amount is. And the worst thing to do is to compare your reading or compare it to someone else's, to see like, well, they charge 30, so I should charge 32. But that that can be helpful in the terms that it gives you a nice base to work from, but not as an end all kind of thing where you're like, well, this person charges 30, I'm gonna charge 32. But what if they didn't do half of the stuff that you did? And you should really be charging 60 for your reading for the awesomeness and all the high tech stuff that you're doing, or the human contact, emotion, and just your personality that you're doing, all your hard work. You should really have to evaluate that. So I always shy away from comparing myself from someone else. Um, One of the things that I was talking to a friend about comparison, about having someone um, kind of copy them and put that as their own stuff, then it kind of feels a little bit like identity theft a little bit. And so I would hate to do that to somebody, to cause identity theft and steal their ideas, steal their stuff, and use that as my own. I think that defeats the purpose of growing. And so as a reader, I would shy away from um, comparing yourself to other readers and seeing what they're charged for. Really sit down and realize, what is your time worth? What would you put a price on all the hard work that you did? That will be the best way to go, and that's what I've been doing. So the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys is about feedback and customer service. Um, Customer service is something that I absolutely hold dear and true to my heart. Um, the best thing to do is, well, for me, when I started, I did a lot of free readings. I did a lot of free readings for a reason, because I wanted an exchange, a testimonial, or their feedback on how I was as a reader. And I still do that now. I still do free readings. Um, and the only thing that changed now from then is that now I include a little survey of how I was as a reader so that I can know better how to serve. I think it's like 10 questions, and it just asks, how was I confident in the delivery of the messages? Um, did you think that, let's say $30 was fair enough for this reading? Would you recommend this reading to a friend? What would you change, if you could change anything about it, or what would you add to the reading? Is there any, like any feedback or whatever it is that you want to ask questions on? It's really great to ask. Don't be afraid to ask people, because those are your customers, and so you want to know what your customer wants from you. or wants to see more or less of what you do. And the best thing that I've gotten, like I did a recent reading for one of my friends, and she's all like, well, everything was awesome. I really loved it. I really wish I would have seen the cards a little bit more, because I didn't get a chance to look at the cards. I just kind of heard your interpretation of them. And so, not on her reading, but on the next client reading, I added slides of I did the reading, and then when I mentioned the card, I will pause for a moment so I can edit it and add a photo still of what the card looks like. And then it goes into me explaining the card. And then that was even more impactful for that person based on that feedback, because I was able to enhance my service based on what the customers were demanding or asking more of. So never shy away from asking your customers of any kind of feedback, especially if they thought that how much you charged for was fair. Some people you might get like, oh, well, I would only pay $5 for this. I don't really like paying a lot of money for it. But you want to get ask enough people so that you could actually have a average of people's feedback, so you could kind of compare it. It's almost like being a scientist. You don't want to just test one thing and just go with that and then just go full throttle. You want to have, like, test subject A to like Z, and compare your notes and then average it out to be like, okay, so most of the population said that they rather want to see more of this, or they want to see less of this, and so this is the final product. So I hope that this video wasn't weird in any way. I hope that it actually was helpful for a lot of people. I know that for me, it's been a little journey to try to figure out what my strengths are as a reader. But I'm glad that I went through the journey that I did, the way that I did, so that I could actually put out better products. So again, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy your beautiful day. Blessed be. Mwah. Until Wednesday. I'll have a video on Wednesday. Blessed be.